Part 1. The subtle shifts. Seattle rain has a way of seeping into your bones. It's never loud, never violent like a storm, it's persistent, gray, and soft enough that you hardly notice it until you're soaked through. That's how it began with Emily and me. Little shifts, quiet changes, nothing dramatic, until the weight of it all left me drenched. Emily and I had been married for 6 years. She was a graphic designer, freelancing from home, while I worked downtown as a project manager for a tech company. Our life had rhythm, coffee together in the mornings, dinner around 7, lazy evenings on the couch, the occasional weekend drive to the coast. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Then one day, I noticed her phone. It used to live on the kitchen counter or the nightstand, charging. Suddenly, it was always in her hand or face down beside her. I told myself it was nothing. People changed their habits. But the rain had started. Part 2. The silence between us. Dinner conversations grew shorter. Emily used to fill the space with stories about her clients, her designs, the little annoyances of her day. Lately, she gave me clipped answers, eyes on her phone, fingers tapping at invisible threads. Everything okay? I asked one Tuesday evening, my fork circling a plate of overcooked salmon I had made. She smiled, quick and thin. Yeah, just tired. Too many deadlines. But her laptop screen glowed well past midnight, her expression shifting in the light, sometimes a smile, sometimes something softer, like longing. When I reached for her, she'd turn away, claiming exhaustion. The silence was louder than the rain outside. Part 3. The first clue. It was a Saturday in March, the kind where the city feels wrapped in mist, the Space Needle disappearing into low-hanging clouds. I left for the grocery store and realized halfway there that I had forgotten my wallet. When I came back, Emily didn't hear me. She was in the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear, her voice hushed but warm, warmer than it had been with me in weeks. Yeah, I miss you too. No, tonight won't work, he'll be home. I froze, hand gripping my wallet like a weapon. She turned when I entered, startled. Who was that? I asked, keeping my voice casual though my chest felt like it was caving in. Oh, just Megan from my design group. She's been going through some stuff. She lied smoothly, almost too smoothly. And then she kissed me on the cheek, like a magician's flourish meant to distract. The rain outside hit harder against the windows. Part 4. The disguised smiles. From then on, I became a detective in my own home. I noticed the faint perfume on her coat that wasn't hers, the text notifications she cleared instantly, the sudden interest in jogging even though she hated the cold. One evening, I asked, "How's Megan doing?" Emily blinked, just for a second too long, before smiling. Better. Thanks for asking. I laughed, a hollow sound, and excused myself to the bathroom. My reflection stared back, weary, suspicious. I was 34 years old and questioning the woman I had built my life around. Seattle traffic roared in the distance, muffled by the walls of our apartment, and I realized how alone I felt even with her just in the next room. Part 5. Shadows and Passwords. I tried to convince myself I was imagining things. People work late, people change routines. But my instincts gnawed at me like the dampness of a cold day. One night, after Emily fell asleep, I reached for her phone. My hands trembled, guilt and desperation wrestling inside me. It was locked, and I didn't know her new password. She used to share everything with me, her dreams, her fears, her codes. Now I was a stranger. I sat in the dark, phone in hand, listening to her breathe. My heart beat faster than it had on our wedding day. Finally, I set it down, feeling like I'd already betrayed her simply by trying. Trust, once questioned, is already broken. Part 6. The Stranger in the Shadows. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. I left work early on a rainy Friday. Our apartment building had a parking garage, dimly lit and echoing with dripping water. I pulled in and saw a car I didn't recognize, sleek, black, polished, out of place among the battered sedans of our neighbors. When I stepped out, I saw them. Emily, and a man. Tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of easy confidence that clings to people who know they're wanted. She laughed as he touched her arm, then looked up and saw me. Her face drained of color. His smile faltered. "David," she whispered, as if saying my name might make me disappear. The rain followed me upstairs, even though I was drenched before I ever left the garage. Part 7. Confrontation. We didn't speak that night. She shut herself in the bathroom, and I sat on the couch, staring at the muted glow of the city outside our window. When she finally emerged, eyes red, I was ready. "Who is he?" I asked, my voice sharp but trembling. She sank into the armchair opposite me. "His name is Alex. He's a client." "A client who meets you in parking garages?" She flinched. "It wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't mean for it to go this far." Her words sliced through me. "Go this far? So you admit it," I said, almost relieved to have confirmation, though it felt like swallowing glass. She cried then, telling me she was lonely, that she felt unseen, that life had become routine. I wanted to scream that I had been here all along, that I had given her everything I could. Instead, I sat in silence, watching my marriage collapse like a soaked paper bag. Part 8. The aftermath. Days blurred. Work emails went unanswered. I walked the streets of downtown Seattle in a fog, passing the Pike Place Market, the ferries, the endless gray waves of Elliott Bay. The city was alive, yet I felt dead inside. Emily moved into the guest room. We avoided each other like ghosts sharing the same haunted house. Sometimes I'd hear her crying at night, but I couldn't bring myself to comfort her. Sometimes I hated her. Other times, I hated myself more, for still loving her. Part 9. The choice. One evening, she approached me in the kitchen, rain streaking down the window behind her like tears. "I ended it," she said quietly. "With him. It's over." I wanted to believe her, but trust once shattered is never whole again. I looked at her, the woman I had promised forever to, and realized forever had already ended. "Emily," I said, my voice breaking, "I can't do this anymore." She nodded, as if she'd known all along. Her face crumpled, and for the first time in weeks, I saw not the betrayer but the woman I had loved. But it wasn't enough. Part 10. The final rain. The day I moved out, Seattle gave me a farewell storm. Sheets of rain hammered the city, thunder rolling across the sound. I carried my boxes to the car, each step heavier than the last. Emily stood at the doorway, arms wrapped around herself. She didn't speak, and neither did I, words were useless now. When I drove away, the skyline blurred through the rain on my windshield. I felt hollow, like the city itself had carved out my insides. But somewhere beneath the sorrow, a small, defiant spark glowed, the knowledge that I had survived. The rain would pass, eventually. And maybe, someday, I'd feel the sun again.